One of the more infamous alien abduction cases is that of Travis Walton, a logger whose story is allegedly backed up by lie detector tests. High time we studied this case. This is the series where I tell you a story, its subsequent theories and explanations, and then I let you make up your mind. We go into the realm of the aliens this time and study the case of the abduction of Travis Walton. Wednesday, November 5th, 1975, the then 22-year-old Travis Walton was employed by his best friend Mike Rogers, who had a 9-year contract with the United States Forest Service for various duties. Others on the crew were Cam Peterson, John Goulet, Steve Pierce, Alan Dallas and Dwayne Smith. Just after 6 p.m. that day, the crew finished their work for the day and got into Rogers' truck to drive back home to Snowflake. Shortly after beginning the drive home, they saw bright lights coming from behind a hill. They drove closer and said they saw a large silvery disc hovering above a clearing and shining brightly. Rogers stopped the truck and Walton got out and walked toward the object. Despite the fact that his friends started calling him to come back, Travis kept walking until he was below the disc. I would have ran away like a yellow chicken. The disc began making noises similar to a loud turbine and began to wobble from side to side. When he started cautiously walking away, the others saw a beam of blue-green light coming from the disc and strike Walton. He rose a foot into the air, 30 centimeters, his arms and legs outstretched, and shot back stiffly. Then his right shoulder hit the earth and his body sprawled limply over the ground. He should have never gone there. Peterson called the police from Heber, Arizona, near Snowflake, and they and some of the crew returned to the scene to conduct a search. There, the law enforcement officers became suspicious of the story told by the crew because there was no physical evidence to back it up. No trace of Travis was found, and wearing only jeans, a denim jacket and a shirt, he was at risk of hypothermia during the bitter cold winter night. Not a nice death, I think. By morning, on the 6th of November, there was still no trace of Travis, and suspicions grew that the UFO story was concocted to cover up an accident or homicide. On Monday, November 10th, all of Rogers' crew took polygraph exams administered by Cy Gilson, an Arizona Department of Public Safety employee, and except for Dallas, who did not complete his exam, Gilson concluded that all men were truthful and the exam results were conclusive. Because of this, Sheriff Gillespie announced he accepted the UFO story. A real alien abduction, finally! After a 5-day search, Travis Walton reappeared with a small red spot on the crease of Walton's right elbow that was consistent with hypodermic injection and a lack of ketones in his urine. Walton said that he remembered the light hitting him and then nothing. As he regained his consciousness, he realized he was surrounded by 3 figures. They were shorter than 5 feet and they had bald heads, no hair, their heads were domed, very large. They had large eyes, almost all brown, without much white in them. Their ears, noses and mouths seemed real small. It was typical of the so-called Greys. At least it's consistent with the other abduction stories. He complained of an aching body and a splitting pain in his skull. Despite this, he managed to jump off the operating table he lay on and took a glass-like rod to threaten the figures into leaving him. He ran out of the operation room entered a starlit room, and when he left this one, he met a tall human figure wearing blue coveralls with a glassy helmet and gold eyes who started asking him questions. It was the alien police. He followed the man down a hallway which led to a door and a steep ramp down to a large room Walton described as similar to an aircraft hangar where he reported seeing other disc-shaped craft. Travis was led to a table where a woman held a device like an oxygen mask, and before he could fight back, Walton says he passed out. When he woke again, he was outside the gas station in Heber, Arizona. Strange story indeed. Was this a hoax? How could we explain people passing polygraph examinations telling an alien abduction story? UFO researcher Philip J. Klass says he found several discrepancies in the stories of the crew. Moreover, he states that the lie detector tests were poorly administered, and Michael Schiemer believes the polygraph is not a reliable determiner of the truth. Travis Walton himself was also put through a lie detector test, one of which he failed. In the other, he allegedly used polygraph countermeasures such as holding his breath. I never trusted polygraphs myself, but I find it strange that a few objections are put up when they find a criminal with it, but when they are used to try to prove a paranormal phenomena, they are suddenly called into question. A confidential medical examination was done on Travis, but it was later found out that Dr. Lester Stewart was not a medical doctor at all, but a hypnotherapist. The red spot, aka injection point, was not near a vein, and the lack of ketones in his body was unusual, as lack or little food for 5 days, as per Travis's story, should have meant he would have started to break down his fats in order to survive, and this would have led to very high levels of ketones in his urine. Furthermore, the absence of bruises, which one might expect in the wake of Walton's alleged beam-driven collision with the ground, is unusual. So no physical evidence as usual. Why would they hoax this? Well, Walton and the other crew members divided the $5,000 given for the exclusive story rights to the Inquirer, and Travis Walton gained money writing a book called The Walton Experience, published in 1978, that was later made into a film called Fire in the Sky in 1993. So it was all for the money? But what would initiate the hoax? Contractor Mike Rogers faced costly penalties due to the crew falling behind schedule and rumors that he was close to bankruptcy. So he and Travis rigged up a glowing light or other prop to make the other 5 think they'd seen a UFO. Faced with embarrassing questions, the Walton family then decided they would only talk to people who did not doubt the abduction by aliens story. Wow! And they got away with that? That's blockbuster Hollywood material, this, don't you think? There is one more possibility. The day Travis Walton was abducted, the Air Force was allegedly training in the White Mountain area. Travis looked up at the not-so-strange lights, and then Mike Rogers drove off with the scared crew in the pickup truck. And they improvised the rest? I set out on this research hoping to find an indisputable case of alien abduction and ended up being disillusioned again. But was this a case of clever people orchestrating an ingenious hoax, or were there some clever skeptics at work casting doubt on a genuine alien abduction case? You decide. If you wish to do your own research, the links in the description might be a good start. If I forgot something or you have something to add, don't hesitate to do so. Your thoughts and opinions are much appreciated, so drop a line in the box below. Just be respectful in the comments, as there are real people with real feelings on the other side. If you enjoyed this vid, you can like and share and subscribe, and you may want to click the little bell to receive notifications. I have my Raphael Verdonk's World channel you might want to check out, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!